Okay. Hi guys. Hope you're having a great day or night wherever you are. I'm making this video. It's kind of a sort of a follow-up to my last video. And the reason I got inspired to do this is I was in Target. Amazing what I find when I'm in the stores. Or here rather. But I was in Target and I saw a man be a little too aggressive with a woman in the parking lot, and it really pissed me off. And so it inspired me to make this video. I'm sure many of you who are watching this are or have experienced physical abuse from your partner, particularly women. You get abused physically, mentally, what have you, by your husband or boyfriend. But I'm making this video because I want you to know that you can get out of this, and you should get out of it as soon as possible. I lived that nightmare with 2 husbands, and none of it was worth anything that I went through. And I know some of you watching this right now who are going through abuse. You're scared to death to leave, which is totally understandable. And you don't know what to do, you don't know where you're going to go. I understand all of that. But what I'm trying to tell you is get a plan and get out as quickly as possible, because there is nothing on this earth that is worth being with a man who abuses you. It's gotten to the point now that it's no longer just abuse. Too many men are killing their wives or girlfriends the minute they get mad at them. And the signs are there. You know, let's be honest, the signs are there. But sometimes we just choose, I guess, not to pay attention to them. I don't know. I know with my first husband, I honestly didn't know he was going to be abusive. I didn't see any signs. We got married very young. I was 18. He was in the military. He went overseas. I followed him overseas a few months after we got married, and he was a very heavy drinker. I guess I should have seen that coming, but maybe because I was so young, I didn't pay attention. He was a very heavy drinker. He couldn't go one evening without guzzling beer after beer after beer after beer. It was non-stop. And I should have seen that, because when I was dating him, whenever we went to his parents' house, oh my God, all they did was drink, smoke, and play cards. That's it. Drink, smoke, play cards. Drink, smoke, play cards. They drank non-stop. All of them. Just drank. Beer. Beer after beer after beer after beer. It was just non-stop. I never ever went to their house once, to his parents' home, without them drinking all evening. Just never happened. So and he joined them. So maybe that should have been my clue. But I never thought he'd be abusive. But once we were overseas, you know, the drinking got out of hand. He got into a lot of trouble, and you know, with the sergeant, with various people. It was a pretty sad situation in so many ways. And then his buddies would tell me about the trouble he got into because of his heavy drinking. There were nights when we'd go out, and his friends would have to carry him home, literally. We didn't have a car, you know. This was overseas, and we didn't have a car. And his friends would end up pretty much carrying him home because he was so drunk. It was pathetic, it really was. And it didn't stop. Once we came back to the States, he continued. And then he became physically abusive as well. He started hitting me. There was one point where he had me flat on the ground with my arms like this, and he was holding both my wrists with his hand and just hitting me with the other one. And of course, he'd been drinking. That got to the point where one night I was able to call my father and tell him, you know, I can't take this. He's at it again. And my father and my then brother-in-law came and they let him have it, which I was very glad for. Um, yeah, that was a pretty bad situation, bad marriage. He was cruel. His drinking was just, I still think about it. If I think of him, I think of all the drinking he did. It was just so much. He'd get off work, he'd come home, and he's drinking. And we used to get in fights over that. You know, we had a little baby, and it bothered me quite a bit. And that just didn't stop. He just continued. In fact, to the point that after I divorced, well, I should say this, he divorced me, thank God. He divorced me. I'm so glad that marriage ended. But even after the marriage ended, there was one point when I started rejecting his child support because I didn't want him to see our son. Because one morning he came and he had such a severe hangover, it wasn't even funny. He was barely even walking straight. And when I went out to the car, the back seat was filled with beer cans, empty beer cans. And I was like, oh my God. And that just scared me. And so I started rejecting his child support payments because at the time I thought, well, maybe if I don't take his money, he won't see him. And then that situation sort of passed, but then he just completely deserted our son. All on his own, he just completely deserted him, didn't fight for him, nothing. He just didn't bother with him. And then, of course, in my second marriage, if you've seen any of my other videos, he was extremely physically abusive as well. He was bad. This guy almost killed me a few times, and he would beat me mercilessly, to where I was bleeding, to where I was bruised and cut, to where, I mean, it was so bad, guys. If you're in that situation, get out. There is nothing, there is no one worth staying in that situation. I regret it so much. I regret that I stayed in that 22-year marriage. He was so cruel, so very, very cruel right from the beginning. And see, the sign was there again. I didn't pay attention to it. What, I was 21, 20, whatever, 20, I don't know. I was young, 22, 3, around there, I don't know. But you know, the first time he showed his aggression, we were dating and we were at my apartment and he had to call his ex-wife, and I don't know what they talked about, but he got my telephone, the landline, you know, back then it was a landline, and he got it and he slung it across the room and shattered it on the wall. And of course I was stunned. I thought, what? You know, I was so stunned. It shocked me. It really shocked me. And then he did that a couple more times, guys. Shattered my phones. Well, that continued after I stupidly married him. And he showed his violence right from the beginning when I was pregnant with our first child. And it didn't stop. He was cruel, he was vicious. If you disagreed with him, if I disagreed with him, you know, it became very scary. He would get very scary. And the thing about these kind of guys sometimes is they can put off to everybody else that they are the most wonderful person you have ever met. Oh, the kindest, sweetest guy. You know what I'm talking about. If you have experienced it, or if you are experiencing it where you're with an abusive man, oh, he's out there and the world thinks he's just the sweetest sweetheart of all. Oh, he's such a nice guy. He's so wonderful. When I finally came out to my family about him being abusive, they were in shock. They couldn't believe it because I lied so well. I lied so very well. Put off like we were happily married, you know, like everything was good. I always lied because I was so embarrassed to know that, again, I picked a total loser. It was very hard to face. And so I lied. You know, I'd always, but then slowly, you know, things started coming out. Slowly, you know, it starts to come out even when you're around people of how I felt about him. And guys, it's not worth what it does to you mentally. It's not worth what it does to your life to stay with these kind of people. you end up hating them. I mean, you really end up hating them. I remember times when I would sit there and look at him and think, I wish you would die today. I really wish you would die today. That used to go through my mind constantly after, I got a good beating from him. And you end up just this very angry and bitter person inside, to where it just affects every aspect of your life. And those of you that are going through this, you know what I'm talking about, so don't try to pretend you don't. An abusive man is scary because a simple slap from a man can break your neck. Okay, they're very strong. I know, believe me. A simple punch from him, or I shouldn't say simple, but a punch from him would leave me with a knot the size of that, and then the bruise was unbelievable. And I'm not sure why so many of us stay with people like that, because now, not in a million years would I tolerate 1 ounce of aggression or violence or cruelty in a man, no matter what. So if you're in this situation, please get out. It will ruin your life, and it can end your life. You have to get real with the situation, which is hard. I'm not sitting here acting like it's easy. No, I was married to him for 22 years. That's not quick. But be smarter than I was. Get away from this person before it's too late. Get away before it affects a major portion of your life. 22 years of my life was pretty much ruined, in the sense that I was with somebody who was so sick and cruel. And I can't get those years back. Can't get them back. Even when I got him arrested, I finally, after years and years of abuse, I finally got him arrested. That didn't stop him. It didn't stop him. So these kind of people, you're kidding yourself if you think that they're going to be cured, or that they're going to really change. Because, there's a saying, if someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. Well, that's a very true saying. And I hate the thought of any of you putting yourself or your children through what I did to myself and my children, out of some, something to make, you have to make this marriage work, or I don't know what that is. I really don't know what it is that what causes some of us to stay with someone as horrible as an abuser. Because now I'm telling you guys, if a guy shows me an ounce of violence, it's over. I mean, if he shows me a severe temper, it's over. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm done with that. I will never deal with that again. And when I saw this at Target, he was being, he grabbed her by the arm and shoved her into the car, and he was telling her she was a bitch and all this kind of other stuff, and I thought, oh my God. And it just brought back a lot of thoughts, a lot of memories. So I'm telling you, I want you to get out. I want you to find a way out. It's scary. Go to a shelter. Whatever you have to do, please do it. Save yourself. Save your children. Save your life. Save your future. Don't be with these kind of people. This man, my ex that I was with for 22 years, well, the other one too, he was very cruel too. In fact, my first husband, at one point when we were having an argument, he saw he couldn't get to me anymore because I was just ignoring him. So he went out and he kicked our dog. I mean, just kicked her really hard. She was a darling little dog. And she was just little. Her name was Starlight. And he went out and kicked her. And that shows you how sick these people really are. Oh God, I think about these two men and I think, man, what my life could be if I had chosen better or just left. The second one becoming a drug addict as well at the end. The last 6 years of our marriage was horrific. He hit me at one point. Again, it was just a simple argument. Well, he took off his belt and he whipped it at me with the buckle end at the end. He whipped me like that, and it cut open my arm, which I didn't realize it had cut open my arm at the time because the pain was so bad. I was in such shock just from the pain because it hurt so bad. I was standing in my nightgown in the bedroom, and I was holding it because it hurt so bad. And then all of a sudden I looked down because I thought, what am I feeling? I felt something warm, and my nightgown was just dripping in blood, and I was standing in my own blood. Didn't even realize that, guys. He had hit something. I still have the scar, unfortunately. He had hit something kind of major there, and he wouldn't let me call ambulance. He wouldn't take me to the doctor, nothing. I'm just standing there. Well, I was screaming, and two of my sons came in. They literally bust through the door, and one of them put like a little tourniquet on there, and you know, they were chewing him out. I was literally just standing in blood. And that just goes to show you that these kind of people, they're mentally ill. They're sick. They are mentally ill. And they will also get you to the point where you just want to fight back at them, because I did start fighting back. I did start hitting him back because he was so cruel. You end up just hating them. You end up just wanting revenge on them. You just want to hit them. You know, it starts affecting you and your thinking as well. And it starts to alienate you from yourself, from who you were before you were with that horrible person. So I'm telling you, please listen to what I say. Listen, listen, listen. If you're in this situation right now, and you know that this person is not, you know, this person is just cruel, this person has hit you, or maybe even your children or what have you, you have got to get out. You have got to figure out a way out of this right away. If it means just grabbing your kids and a few clothes and what have you, necessities, when that man is not around, run. Run to a shelter, run to a police station, whatever you need to do, do it. But do not continue to let your life be affected by this sick person. We see it on the news all the time, guys. Don't let yourself be one of those. Don't be that woman that stayed with them and you end up dead, and so do your children. It's happening too often now. The murder-suicide type things are happening, and you always hear the story that you know, the neighbors will say, oh, we heard a lot of fighting, they didn't get along, what have you. You've got to stop that. You've got to get out of it, because those kind of people, I think about my ex, and I think about what a wonderful show he put on out there, outside the closed doors. Oh, people at his job thought he was the most wonderful person you could ever meet. People that, you know, we would go to dinner with from his work, oh, he was just the greatest guy ever. Oh yeah, everybody just thought he was fantastic. And at the same time, he's doing what he's doing. They're they're just sick. There's no other word. They're just sick people. And if you're a woman in this situation, stop, and if you have kids, look at your kids. Don't put them through it. I mean, to this day, I regret I didn't walk out the first time he shoved me, which was within our first few months of marriage. Literally our first few months. I wish I walked out. I don't know what was wrong with me, as I stated in my last video. But I'm telling you this because I want you to save yourself and save your kids, save your life, save your future, save everything, because this sick person can end it all. And the cruelty, whether it's physical or verbal or both, can destroy you over time. It can just destroy your very soul, your very being. It can bring you down to where you feel like you are nothing and no one and worth nothing. That's what he did to me. And when I used to discuss, you know, ending the marriage, when I'd say things like, I just can't take this marriage anymore, or whatever, he would come back with, if you divorce me, I'll have you taken out for $100. So imagine what that's, I know some of you have gone through that. I know you have. I know it in my heart. Imagine what that did to me, knowing that was like a battle in my head every day. Every single day it was a battle in my head. I need to leave this man. Oh my gosh, should I leave this man? He's going to kill me. I mean, he would do that where the kids couldn't hear him. Like if I was in the bedroom and he'd come back there and he'd say it real low. Or in the hallway, if we pass, he goes, you divorced me, I'll take you out for I'll have you taken out for $100. He did that so many times, it's not even funny. And I know that messed with my head. I know that messed with my ability to decide what to do because I was terrified. But I thank goodness I got the nerve the night that I did. I remember it as if it happened yesterday. The den we were in, he was standing by the garage door, and I told him to get the hell out. I never want to see you again. And I'm so thankful I did. Because I would not be here, guys. If I had not left that man of 22 years of hell, I would not be alive, I guarantee you. Some of the things he did to me, I still don't know how I got through. I honestly don't know how I got through it. I think about the kicks, the punches, the hair pulling, slamming my head into the wall, throwing me down, dragging me, spitting on me. He used to love to spit, slapping me, punching me. I seriously don't know how I got through that. I really don't. Just some kind of a miracle, I guess, if you believe in miracles or whatever. I don't know what it was, but I don't know how I got through it. He was vicious, vicious, vicious person. And he would do it in public. One time we were arguing and I couldn't take it, so I got in the car to leave. I went to go mail something. I was mailing something. And I went to the mailbox. I drove to the postal station, and I had gotten to the mailbox and I was just ready to get out of the car, and I felt a car hit my car from behind. Not hard, but just hit it, you know, good enough to push it. And I thought, what the hell? So I looked behind. Well, it was him. And I thought, oh my God, I was terrified. So I locked my doors real quick, and he was pounding on the window right there in public. He's pounding, you fucking bitch, I'm gonna make you pay. And a lady was standing in the parking lot of the post office, and I saw her scream. She screamed, I see you, son of a bitch, leave her alone, leave her alone. She was screaming, and that caused other people to look over, and they literally started yelling, leave her alone. And so he kicked my car door really hard, punched the window really hard, and then he got back in his car and took off like a bat out of hell. And all these people came up to me, surrounded the car, and they're, are you okay, are you okay? I was like, oh my God, you know, I was freaking out. And I was so thankful to them because I don't know what he would have done to me right there. I mean, that was in public. And this is before he ever started drugs, okay? So that was in public, didn't matter to him. He still did it. And I'm so thankful to this day that that woman started the yelling when she did, because he was hitting the window hard. And that's the way it goes, guys. It's not going to change. It's not. They will sucker you in with flowers and gifts, and I love you, I can't live without you, you know you mean the world to me. How could I go on without you and the kids? You're everything to me. Without you I'd be nothing. They go into this whole routine that you get trapped into as well. I know I did. And I don't want to see any of you do this. I want you to look at your life, think about how important your life is, your kids' lives are, and get out. Get out before it's too late, because nowadays something has changed to where men, it's not even just a case of them hitting you anymore. They want to kill you. They just want to kill you. And that's very frightening. I see it so many times now on the news. I get online and it's like, oh my gosh, another man killed a woman. Another man killed a woman, the kids, and himself. I mean, it's just it's bad. So guys, I'm telling you, I made this video because when I saw that happen in Target, I thought, at that split second, I thought, God, how many more women are going through this right now? The way he grabbed her arm and pushed her down in the car seat, I wanted to just go over there and just kick the hell out of him. And so what I did, because nowadays you have to be afraid of being shot, I got in my car and I just started honking the horn. I mean, that's, you know, which caused everybody to look around, because their car was kind of near mine, which caused everybody to look around. And he stopped, but then, you know, he got in the car and they drove off, so who knows what happened to her once they left. But guys, please, please, I'm telling you, get away, get out, run to a friend's, run to a shelter, get in your car if you have one. If you don't, find somebody who can come get you something, work it out to where he doesn't know, and get the hell away from him. Because I'm telling you, it's just not going to have a good ending, especially nowadays. It's not going to have a good ending. And the suffering I went through, I literally still have physical marks from all of it. And of course the mental, you know, what it does to you while you're going through it is horrific. It messes with your mind in a way like nothing else. You can't function properly, you can't think properly, you can't just live your life normally. It's a constant nightmare that never goes away. So I want you, if you're watching this and you are experiencing abuse from that guy, whether it's your husband or boyfriend, just get the hell out. Don't make excuses for him. There are no excuses. Don't blame yourself. There are people out there, I know a couple right now, who have blamed me for what he did. And those people, they'll get their dues from karma. Because these two people, unbelievably, have said, oh, well, I remember, you know, you pushed into it, blah, 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 you this. No, guys, don't ever let anybody ever convince you that you have pushed a man to beating the hell out of you. That's bullshit. It's an excuse to cover up for the loser that person was. So don't let anybody make you feel it's your fault. Not a soul. It is not your fault. Even if you get in the worst of arguments, screaming and yelling at each other, calling each other the worst possible names, whatever, no man has the right to lay his hands on you and beat the hell out of you. I don't care what anybody says. So take my advice, guys. Think about your future. Think about what you're doing to yourself and your children if you have children. And if you don't have children, then honey, there's no excuse. Just get the hell out. I know that having children can scare you into what am I going to do? How am I going to take care of them? I know that. But there are ways out. Go to a shelter. Find a way. Be smarter than I was back then. And if you have no kids, just get out. That's it. Go. Just pack what you need and get the hell out and do what you have to end the marriage. Or if you're not married, then you don't have to do anything but just stay the hell away from that person. Find a safe place, whatever. But don't waste your life, guys, please. It's not worth it. I cannot get 22 years back. It's 22 years taken out of my life that was hell. It was a nightmare. It affected my life greatly in a lot of ways, an awful lot of ways, and he definitely was not worth it. Not in any way, shape, or form. I still don't know how I'm still alive. I honestly don't. I know there were a couple of times when someone else came into the picture and thankfully saved my life, literally saved my life. And thankfully to the police as well. The one night that they came and they showed him what it feels like to be beaten up by someone who's much stronger than you. And it's not worth it, guys. Please, 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 I'm begging of you. If you're in that situation, get out, get out, get out. Value yourself, value your life, value everything in your life more than this sick person that you are married to or living with. It's absolutely not worth it. Take control of your life. Realize that you're worth so much and you're not going to let this person ruin it for the rest of your life. Okay, guys? There's not much else I can say other than if you are experiencing abuse, please get out. Get out. Listen to me. Get out. Let nothing convince you to stay into it. Nothing on this earth is worth being with an abusive man. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I guess this could apply to a man too if a woman is doing it. But on the whole, it's the man who ends up killing and beating the hell out of the woman. So please listen to me. Get out. Get out, get out, get out. Don't find excuses. Don't think, I love him, I love him. You cannot truly love a man who beats you. He's a habit, and you need to break that habit. It's not love. Talk to you later, guys. Get out. Be safe.